Hello, children. It's time to start with the final lesson for this year, that is motion and time. I'm sure you are aware of these terms in the previous classes. Maybe you had studied them separately as motion and as time. Let's try to find out more about these terms in details in this lesson. I want you to think about something. I'm going to show you pictures. Look at the pictures carefully and tell me. What do you see in the first picture? Okay. You might say, I see a laptop kept on the table. That table also has a book, pen, a small pot, a person holding a cup of coffee. Okay, these are the things which are there on the table. Have a look at the other figure. You recollect this cartoon? Okay, Tom and Jerry, correct. But do you think the first diagram, the first picture and the second picture, they are just the same? Do you think there is some difference in it? Yes. In the second picture, I see Jerry running ahead, trying to save himself from Tom. Okay. Now, what do I call it as? In motion, I say the first one where laptop, book, pen, everything is kept. I say that these objects are static, they are not moving, they are at rest. Whereas in the second picture, I find Tom and Jerry running. I say they are non-static. Okay, which means they are not stationary, they are not fixed, they are not at rest, they are moving, they are into motion. Now, whenever I use word motion, I will always compare it with a stationary object. So I call it as the relative motion. Confused? Well, let me explain you. Now I want you to look at the Tom and Jerry picture carefully. I say that Tom is running, Jerry is running. Why? Because I see Tom and Jerry running behind as far as this curtain is concerned, or maybe this green box is concerned. So in relation to that wall or that curtain or that green box, I find Tom and Jerry moving. Whereas in the first picture, I don't see anything moving because everything is fixed. So any motion is always compared to a stationary object, and hence we regard it as relative motion. Okay, so when I say I'm moving, I'm walking across the class, I'm walking on the road, I am in relation to maybe a tree on the road or the bench in the class, I'm moving away from the bench. The bench is stationary, so I'm relating my movement to a stationary object. Please remember this. This is a very important term whenever we deal with motion. In this slide, we are going to recall some of the types of motions that you would have dealt with in the earlier standards. Okay, recall types of motion. Look at the figure. What do I see? Is it a video game racing car? Is the car moving in a straight line? Then I will classify this type of motion as rectilinear. Object moves in a straight line. There is another version of rectilinear that's also a linear type of motion. Have a look at this picture. There is a car that is moving on a curved road or a ghat section. It's a curved road, it's not a straight line. So in such a case, I will say that the motion is curvilinear. The car takes a turn and then continues to move straight. The next picture for you. See, the red ball is taking turns, rounds, 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 forming a circle. This is circulatory motion. Do you remember rotational and revolutional? They are types of circulatory motion. Rotation, day and night. Earth rotates around itself. Revolution, Earth rotates around the sun. Ah, look at this picture. I see sun, I see Earth moving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. It is circulatory, but is it specific something? Is there something specific? See, The picture is trying to highlight some kilometers. So does it happen that one fine year the earth will take some time, the other fine year the earth will take another time to move around the sun? No. So this is periodic motion. It goes along around the sun in the same fashion. The time period remains the same. This is our wall clock. See, the bob and the pendulum is hanging around left, right, left, right. So this type of motion, to and fro motion, I call it as oscillatory motion. You also see this in a swing. What do you think this person is doing? There is a string which is attached. The person has plucked the string. The string is moving up and down. So it is vibrating, vibrational type of motions. Okay, so these are the broad categories of motions which you would have dealt with in your previous class. Now I want you to write down definitions for this quickly and give me two examples of each.